It's Enrico Pallazzo!
Utah, give me 2.
Pallazzo!
I feel like my audio got screwed up now. Is that true?
No, you sound the
Not
same
to me. Yeah.
It would be amazing if all of a sudden you did that high pitch thing that happened for a brief time with you.
Oh, did you hear the audience clapping?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's all. That's how I know. All right, hey, welcome in, everybody.
Great job.
We're really killing it today. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 O's, 2 Z's. It's the Prospects Power Hour on Monday night. It's Roman Anthony's debut. How excited is everybody? Woo! Shut up! I think I've had enough Roman Anthony. I really have. But we'll talk about that.
Okay. Here's
Just
a question for you
Boston
guys.
prospects in general. Enough Boston prospects in general.
First thing,
Yes.
have you guys seen pictures of Roman Anthony?
I have.
The person. Okay.
I don't have his OnlyFans, Ben, if that's what you're asking.
No, well, I mean, God, that's got to be about the only top 100 you don't. But anyway, my thoughts when I looked at I've just watched him play ball. I haven't seen him in like a not hat setup. Okay, the guy looks like the best friend of every lead teenager on a 90s TGIF show.
I saw you mention that in the Discord.
The best friend guy, though. But I mean, not the lead guy, the like good buddy.
Britton said he looks like Uncle Rico, though.
Oh.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Like
Uncle Rico has some age to him.
But Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico, or White Lotus, Uncle Rico?
Oh,
no, the original Uncle Rico, the original. I used to throw a football a quarter mile.
But I think it's the same guy. I mean, I think they just crossed universes with this one.
Sure, that's probably that's what they do now. It's got to be meta. It can't just be a joke. It's got to have it's got to have a meta element to it. So because we're used to, we can't just have one thing. We have multiple pieces of info at once. Anyways, we'll talk about that. We're talking about it now. Prospects, jump in the live chat. If you want to throw something in there, we're going to talk about the dream lineup of prospects between the AL East and the NL East. So we're going to put it together. We're going to give you our very best lineup, and we're willing to hear what you guys think as well. And that is all part of today's wonderful show. Make sure you guys follow, subscribe. Big Gentle Ben, Robbie Baseball. The Discord's free. Everything's in the description. Check out Ben's website, chasingbaseballgreatness.com. That is also in the description. As Mike Virginia says, hello. Hi. Hi, Mike. Hello, Mike. But first, as always, let's talk some baseball. The latest and greatest in the world. We said Roman Anthony. I think that covers it. I mean, I'm kind of done with it. I really am. I'm ready to talk about other people. I actually tweeted earlier, okay, we now can move forward. Great.
Right.
So here's one that slipped through Sunday night that I don't.
Great job.
I think a lot, or late Saturday, early Sunday, that I think is going underappreciated in fantasy circles. Jonathan Rodriguez is up with a full-time job with Cleveland. If you were playing Jokenzie Noel, you're going to get very similar, if not maybe a little more hit, a little less power out of Rodriguez as far as the overall profile. But I also trust Rodriguez to get to his kind of 75th percentile more than Noel. Noel to me is a kind of one of those, when he's on a heater, you want him, but the rest of the time, he swings and misses at a lot of stuff outside the zone. And
he's gone now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's down in the minors, and that's who Rodriguez replaced. And they went to the very end of spring training with those two in a position battle. And I think the fact that Noel had been there and had done it in the playoffs kind of helped him to win, because Rodriguez outperformed him in spring. Just no two ways.
I just don't know. There's still a lot of problems there, though. I mean, Rodriguez aside, you got Nolan Jones in the mix. He's still there. He's not going anywhere yet. Lane Thomas will come back. And Angel Martinez, who I really like, but he just doesn't seem to be a guy who's really an everyday guy. But he still goes out there. His defense helps. But it's a mess. So I know you like Jonathan Rodriguez. You've brought him up a few times this year on the show. But I still think playing time would be a problem.
Which I don't argue on. I just think that as we're talking about, I mean, how much, well, I guess injury kind of helped with that, but if you were looking at things right now, how much different is that with Kobe Mayo? as far as playing time long term. But then Mountcastle got hurt, and so Mountcastle's out. That gives him a better line to playing time. But before Mountcastle got hurt, how was that any different? And everyone was going wild that, hey, Mayo's finally up and they're sticking with him. And well, yeah, if he hits.
Yeah.
If he doesn't hit, he isn't going to play. And that's kind of where Cleveland is. Cleveland has depth guys that they can say, hey, if you're not hitting, you're going to head back to Columbus. And we've got this guy and this guy who can at least pass.
Well, and for Cleveland too, Ben, it's the same amount of money no matter what the player is, right? It's all entry-level guys. It's all under $1 million guys.
Everyone's on a minimum.
Yeah, it's not a $5 million guy that they've got a DFA and walk away from. It's a guy with options. So they can just not necessarily play the hot hand. They can play the hand they think is going to have a higher floor for them when they're not performing. And I did want to bring up, because in one 30-team league, I have been somewhat stuck after thinking I had made a good deal like 3 years ago. I acquired Nolan Jones. He had that good year with Colorado, and then last year injury riddled. But the last month, do you want to guess his average? Last month,
Nolan Jones. I know a lot about Nolan Jones. Trust me. I'm going to say last month his average is actually 240,
300.
Oh, even better. I was trying to.
Part-time role, right? 60 at bats. Last 2 weeks it's been 370, but there's been nothing with it, right? No power, no runs, no stolen bases.
Walks. If you OBP too, he's been walking.
Yeah. So and his OPS in the last 2 weeks has been 837. So that's incorporating the OBP into it. But that's just to say that Nolan Jones isn't dead, unlike a lot of the other guys who have kind of churned and burned with Cleveland. I think they're going to stick around, or he's going to stick around, I should say. And
his hard hit is stupid too, man. His hard hit is stupid.
Hopefully this is a continuous adjustment, right? Like where he's going to, he'll be a second half monster. I mean, maybe, but either way, I've got an eye on him. Because in that one particular league, it's like Davis Schneider, like a lot of guys who I was hoping could be solid floors, like we're talking about with.
We're still there, Robbie. I'm not giving up. I'm with you on Davis Schneider. It's not over.
Schneider's been good since he got back. And who else? I've got David Hamilton in that league as well, and he doesn't get to play in Boston, but when he does, he performs. It's going to get even worse now with Anthony there. So there's guys who are slowly ready now, but they're not in a position to get regular at bats. So we'll see if anything changes with these guys. But anyway,
I know you have more you want to say. I want to add to that real quick, because I've thought about this a lot, guys. It seems to me, look, Justin Henry Malloy, our guy, our main man, he got demoted, but he has not been given a chance to fail. No. He has not been given a chance to fail even. You can't say it didn't work. There's a lot of guys that look around. I honestly think, I've been on this for about a year and a half, I really think we need expansion. I see a lot of hitters. Maybe we'll be short on the pitching end. I do admit that.
That's just the issue, is I think we are, in baseball in general, we are very deep in hitting.
Yes.
Because our game has pushed that. We've not pushed for quality pitching. We pushed for holy crap velocity pitching and holy crap spin pitching, which makes for a whole lot of really good relievers and not a whole lot else.
Fair.
And so I think now that said, we are right now on pace to set a significant mark in the last decade for quality starts in Major League Baseball.
Hey, all right.
I can't remember. It was Baseball Prospectus or The Athletic or Fangraphs or someone like that had an article that was simply titled "Starting Pitchers Are Back, Baby." That was one of the big stats they brought out. But on average, pitchers are going a lot deeper as far as innings, and they're not doing it with more pitches. Okay. So they're actually pitching, which is, we talk about a guy like Skubal, who throws 103 miles an hour on a 90-second pitch of the game, and that
close it
completes the game. And that's what we haven't seen a lot, is these 90-pitch complete games, which, not saying that that's common, but that's what you just aren't emphasizing. You're emphasizing, give me your 98 mile an hour with high inverted, velocity or inverted rise and all this crap. And it's like,
yeah. Well, I think Robbie's, speaking of meta jokes, Robbie's going meta right here.
Tours.
That's impressive. Yeah. Well done.
I can't change my YouTube channel name quickly enough to disguise it.
No. Yeah, you need a burner. I'm sending it back to you, Robbie, but when you mentioned David Schneider, I think Malloy, I think of Schneider, I think of a Hamilton a little bit. There's other guys, not off the top of my head, where I'm like, David Schneider and Malloy are two guys that just have not been given an opportunity to, although I guess David Schneider did get a chance last year. He kind of shit the bed. But Malloy has not given it a chance yet, Robbie. That's all.
But Schneider was put in a position last year, and we've talked about it before. So he was put in a position where I think it was likely he was going to fail. The team was struggling, and they're like, hey, you get on base a bit, so now you're our leadoff hitter. Well, that's not what he does. So you put him in a position to fail. And then when he wasn't doing well, you buried him. And when he came in the year before that, in 2023, he was coming in off the bench. He was getting the odd start, and he was just taking advantage of the opportunities, which is what you want a guy to do. Yep. And then you continue to put him in when you can do well with him. And then once the scouting catches up, that's when we start to see the guys make the adjustments. And
thank you.
And Hamilton's another guy who has never got the opportunity to get the adjustments. Long time ago, it was Jose Siri. I was barking about that. There's tons of guys, and all you have to do is focus in on 5 guys on any team, and you'll know, like 5 peripheral players, and you'll notice
you'll find them in a hurry.
Yeah, how all of a sudden they're not getting opportunities, skill aside or results aside.
Look at it this year: Nick Allen and Eli White with the Braves. And yes, I'm going to bring up the Braves, but those two guys, as crappy as the Braves have been,
wow,
Braves would be a lot worse without those two guys playing the way that they've played this year. And those are both guys that have primarily been bench pieces their entire career.
You're right.
For Allen, there was some visual adjustment that he made that has helped him to hit the ball better, but he's still hitting 250 to 260. He's just not going through those 1 for 40 slumps like he once did as a hitter. And his defense is so stinking good that 250 to 260 is going to be like a 4-win player this year. Right. But Eli White's an elite defender that figured out how to hit with the torpedo bat. And so, I mean, these are great players, but they're not getting a chance because they don't walk onto the field and suddenly hit 300. And that is one big thing we're struggling with in the majors, because you can pump up another guy who's sitting in AAA, and if he comes up and hits 300, well, the guy who didn't may not ever get back his shot, especially if he's not a highly regarded prospect.
Oh, especially. Absolutely.
Those guys that have some, a first-round draft pick behind them and have some team investment, well, then they're going to get a shot or two.
Of course.
But still, even then, you flop twice. I mean, shoot, Mike Trout flopped like nobody's business when he first came up, and he didn't the second time. I
think he's doing it right now.
In today's game, if Mike Trout came up
great job
twice, do you think he would still have an opportunity as a starting outfielder, even with the high prospect profile he had?
I don't think so. It's too soon.
It's a tough scene, but one of the guys what typically happens, Ben, is they don't get an opportunity because somebody gets called up, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Are the guys who have been called up? We've got Mick Abel with the Phillies, who we talked about a few weeks ago after that first start. I felt like he had earned another spot in the rotation, and he did have to wait 10 days, but he got it, and now it looks like he's going to hang out until Aaron Nola is back, and then who knows?
He was part of my trade prop last night, Robbie.
Was it? Oh, well, I mean, I still got other guys in that league.
I need pitching, so I was looking at Mick Abel, but I didn't think he'd take it, so I just didn't even send it. I failed.
There are guys we can always talk. Govier and I are referencing a 30-team points league where I think he should be able to walk all over his division rest of season, and he thinks that not adjusting his roster is how you win. Jack Caglione finally called up. That's great. Good news. Everybody wanted this, and I mean, whatever. Casey is rolling. More importantly, the Rockies called up Keston Hiura, bench depth. I'm just happy to see that he's up because it's fun for me. Abraham Toro was also fun to see get called up. Now he's obviously many things happen for him to be able to come up. With Hiura, he's just playing on the bench, and he's not a prospect. I'll move on. Otto Kemp is up. Kobe Mayo is back up. Jacob Melton with Houston is up. Ryan Ritter is up. Rodriguez, we already mentioned.
Ryan Ritter, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Are you not as excited about Ritter anymore, or have you stayed?
I don't have shares. I just don't have shares.
So you're not in the bandwagon.
Well, I'm happy to see what he does. Right. I really like when the guys come up and do okay and then get sent down.
When you even mention Kyle Teal, what the hell?
Teal,
that's the next guy.
Yeah, Teal is up.
He should have been first.
Cole Young is up, and it's been quiet, but that's okay. And then I don't remember when Clark from the A's got called up.
He got called up last week. Ago, right? It was early last week.
Okay, so we didn't record. But it is interesting with him because he's such a good defender. Whether they're going to allow him to suck, you know how it used to be okay for one guy in your lineup to just constantly suck. Whether
no batting average.
Or not.
Not going to happen.
But we'll see. But those are the guys up.
That's not his profile either. He's always been a low batting average guy, but he's got ridiculous raw tools to where when he goes on a heater, he's going to end the season for you with possibly a 2020 type of line, but it's going to be 230, and he's going to have some, weeks where it's 1 for 40, like we were talking about earlier. And, that's the whole issue. No, the Teal thing, you mentioned that. I think Kyle Teal, and I typed this up last week in my on my 10-pack, which, by the way, that 10-pack now has like 6 guys in the majors.
Where can you find that, Ben? You got to tell people. You got to promote yourself. There you go.
Baseball greatness. The 10 guys that I highlighted last week, I had Ryan Ritter in there. I had Kyle Teal in there. I had a bunch of guys that then got called up on top of, I'm highlighting one call up each week anyway, because we've had such an amount.
And if everybody goes to chasingbaseballgreatness.com, everybody's going to be saying,
man, I'm glad I called that guy.
There you go.
Nice.
But Kyle Teal and Edgar Carrero is the modern catching setup. You have 2 guys that they want to see both get time. They might get a random DH slot in there every so often. Highly doubt that it'll be consistent, but that's 2 guys that are likely going to get 3 to 4 starts a week each, because they're going to find 1 start maybe a week as DH and then that gets you, folks that are expecting Kyle Teal to come up and play the equivalent of a 135, 140 game pace. Yeah, that ain't happening. No, he's
wow.
He will get some DH games, but I don't think you're going to see him DH every day that he's not catching.
Shit. Well, you ruined my day.
Well,
he did play all weekend. He played the whole series against KC.
Yeah. And they might just say, you know what, we don't have anybody better. We're gonna play Carroll and Teal constant, and that's just the way we're gonna roll. So
I don't know any more than Ben does, but my gut instinct, or what I'm hoping for a bit too, but I believe that Kyle Teal is so consistent as a consistent, maybe not elite, like, oh my God, Juan Soto shit, anything like that. But I feel that he has such a profile that we, day to day, week to week, be like, oh wow, the floor, right? The floor is really good for Kyle Teal. And I believe that will make him a guy that gets in the lineup at least 5 times a week. I really do. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Ben's not rooting against it. Clearly, I have already invested in that.
I love Teal. I really like both guys. I think Carroll is a very good defender who gets underrated for that, but he also has a very good contact bat. Teal is the guy who's going to be I think people oversell his power, but he's going to be a very high double and probably 20 homer type of bat with good batting average. Yeah.
290 maybe.
20 home runs and lots of doubles. That's that
lots
profile.
Of doubles. But I love that, man. I love that. And I got screwed. My main event, I bought him last night. I purchased his services, and boy, I misread the market, man. It's a $1,000 budget. This is redraft, of course, but I spent $110 on him, and the next lowest bid was $16.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, see, that's the presence.
But again, you only need one person to want him as bad as you do, and you don't.
Right. You never know. All those different leagues. One guy I love Slade Ciccone, but in the league I'm in, there's actually 2 other guys that actually love him, but in the rest of the other main event leagues, he went for like $30, but in mine he went for $90. So I never know. I can't guarantee this shit.
So there's a guy who, and I wish I could remember who it was on put it up on Twitter, that he won kegs this weekend, and he won kegs with like a $280 bid.
Yep.
And he was so pissed off because the bid behind him was like 112 or something like this. It was something, well, I thought it was really low for kegs, frankly, because I thought I didn't see anyone below 200, but to see 112, and then what he was so mad about is that Yuri Perez was also someone he bid on, but he didn't have the funds. He didn't think it was right to spend, $400. And so he didn't bid enough, and Perez went for like 130. And he says, if I would have known, I would have put,
But like realistically, Perez should have been taken 2 weeks earlier. Like he shouldn't have been just going before the start.
But it depends. In the NFBC, Robbie, I know you don't care at all, but a player doesn't enter the pool until he plays or is drafted. He's not just permanently in the pool. It's very weird. Yeah.
I thought that
even if it's a Yuri Perez type. Nope. Even if it's a guy.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Then.
So
that is odd to me. Okay, let's get into some guys who are option DFA'd, released, whatever. Lawler with Arizona back down. Henry Malloy with Tigers, as we mentioned. Luis May, was he Cincinnati?
Cincinnati pumping 103.
Uncle Ted's been pumping him for like a month in our chat, and I told you, Uncle Ted, sorry, buddy, it wasn't gonna work out.
He just didn't control it.
Yeah, Kumar Rocker back down.
Coming back. Yeah, Rocker down.
Kumar Rocker stinks, man. Can I get this on the record if I didn't say it before? He's not very good. He's not. I'm sorry.
All right. Chandler Simpson with the Rays, who we'll talk about later. Michael Toglia with Colorado, which I thought was a wise move, and it should be in an attempt to coach him to come back. And then Craig Kimbrell, who got to come up and
then get
have an inning with Atlanta, and then they DFA'd him, which I assume was kind of like signing a one-day contract. However, he loves baseball enough to just play.
Yeah, he's not retiring, and that's the thing. But I will tell you, he came off the field, and they kind of caught some audio in the dugout, and Snitker turns to the pitching coach, and he goes, "He got lucky there." I mean, he came out, he walked two guys, or walked a guy and gave up a single, but he picked off one, and the other one was caught stealing. And then he had a grounder to first base on a pitch that the guy was way out in front of, but he had completely figured out. And I think Matt Olson right now is leading all of baseball in defensive runs saved as a first baseman. It's nuts how well he's playing right now. But he made a really good catch on a very hot shot to first base and ran it out, got that out. And he comes off, and you could just see in their body language that the pitching coach and manager are both going like, yeah, this ain't going to be good. We need to find something different. Because it was 91-92 with the fastball. That just
go Braves! Woo! Right, Robbie?
Yeah, it should have just been thanks for coming. Here's your whatever you get for being on the thing for 10 days, $75,000, whatever it is, and sail away. But like, he actually wants to play, and as you said, like it's not really in the cards. He doesn't have the off speed to allow that
I
to work.
want to fit in.
Yeah, maybe Craig Kimbrell didn't fit in. Yeah.
No more. You can't be the alpha when you're throwing the slowest on the team. So, but anyway, they're all gone out of our way. Let's move into trades. So this was an interesting one. The Reds said sent Alexis Diaz to the Dodgers because they need bullpen help despite having the most expensive bullpen salary for Mike Villani.
Great. Next.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see if he ends up, if Diaz can get it back, because that would be a huge win for the Dodgers. But it's just like Luis May. It's really about location. It's 100% on location. The stuff is still wicked.
Location.
But,
fun news. Yuri is back. Yuri Perez with.
Oh yeah, let's check in live. What's the line, Ben? I want it right now.
And the question.
He went 2 innings with no runs and 1 hit and no walks and 3 strikeouts.
Wow.
And then fell apart to open the third. He now has gotten through 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, 4 hits, and 2 walks. He did strike out 5.
Damn, pitched 5. All right, nice. That's good news then.
He has 78 pitches. I'm guessing, I haven't seen yet.
I don't think he'll go back.
I don't think they're going to bring him back out for the.
That's okay. 5 Ks though. I'm happy about that. I mean, he's got the stuff. He's just got to get back in the groove here. It's TJ return. Pittsburgh's offense, by the way, heating up. Robbie, very exciting.
Pittsburgh's offense. I mean, I've got half of them in one of the leagues I'm in, so it's important.
Maybe Horwitz did something against him tonight. Would that be good news? I really need Horwitz to do something.
Horwitz did not do anything.
Damn it!
Not yet. There's lots of game left.
With
the news of Yuri back, this brings up a good question. How long before you start to rely on a guy coming back from Tommy John, or do you think it is not a good job? The normal thing is when they come back from injury, you don't start them out of the gate. You give them that first
right.
Tonight.
Sure.
You don't start Yuri Perez. Now I did in 2 leagues because I just don't care.
Needed the strike.
I'm excited.
I wanted him back.
This one. It's mid-season almost.
So I put him in 2 leagues. Obviously, now I'm going to spend the week working on some of those ratios to come back down. But what do you guys normally do with George Kirby? I waited and I ended up in one league. I put him in, finally put him in yesterday, I guess it was, and he had dominant start. And in another league, I still haven't put him in. Just trying to be patient.
Well, Sandy Alcantara is his teammate who came back. He's been the worst example. Almost 2 months of hell. Except, so I think maybe it's going to get better from here. I really do believe Sandy Alcantara will play better.
And one of the reasons I put this on, and you saw this in the inning when it got away from him, Perez was throwing his same normal stuff. He's 98, 99 on the top end with the fastball, but you could just tell in the scatter shot of where the pitchers are located. And I'm not watching this live. I got, the game day update thing on MLB.com, so I'm not watching to see where the catcher's positioned, but based on where the pitches are landing, it was complete scatter shot that inning. And he had been doing very well, hitting certain spots, and you could see they're consistently going for one particular spot. And then all of a sudden it's all over the place in that third inning.
Hey guys, let's watch a game thing live like this. We're not watching a game. Let's just watch the box score of the game day as it comes in after these old people talk.
One thing that I noticed and they actually asked Spencer Strider about that this week. And he said that is one of the things that he is really struggling with. He has it in him to throw his 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he does not have it in him to locate that. And he is not going to pitch with that until he can locate it.
Does Ben have it in him to reference a non-Braves pitcher when he's talking about it?
It's just that this got brought up, and I thought it's a really interesting thing around Yuri, and then you bring in Sandy Alcantara, too.
I want to know that. That's good info.
When I've watched him, that is a big thing. Edward. Alcantara is missing the zone badly, and that is not even so much that he's missing the strike zone, but he's absolutely missing where the catcher is putting the glove, and that's a big issue. And when you get into that, then you suddenly have to start kind of aiming a little bit to get yourself back on track, which usually leads to, when you're a guy like Alcantara, Strider, Yuri, you're throwing 98 down the heart of the plate, you generate that home run distance because you're sending that stuff right nice and easy for him to get big contact on. So that's just it. The comments with Strider the other night, and then Yuri coming back, I thought this is a good time to at least have that conversation that when we're seeing these guys come back, your ratios probably aren't going to be great for that first year back.
Yeah,
because there's usually going to be more walks.
Like I'm looking to see what do I need in a week if I've got a starting limit and my guy returning is going to put me, at or over it. I'm really going to watch that matchup. Yep. And as well, I looked to see how they did. Kirby was garbage in all of his rehab as well.
Garbage.
He's just not at his true. He didn't have the normal off season and then the spring training wind up that he had the regular off season. He didn't have the regular spring training, so he's going to be kind of one of those second half type guys. So. But yeah, with the Tommy John guys, it's so touch and go, really, and especially on Miami, where you're not necessarily expecting greatness offensively any night unless you got Hicks in the lineup. So you're really results have to be tempered. It's not a loaded lineup. So anyway, fantasy trades. This is the time of the year when we are past or into week 10, week 11 here, depending on how you set your league up. There are guys in, there are guys out, there are guys on the fence. I'm starting to make trades. Have you guys been making any trades in any leagues where you can trade? I know, Govier, you also like to do the waiver wire game and the redrafts.
Yes, I do. I enjoy the waiver wire, and I like to make trades, and I'm a fantasy baseball nerd.
Have you made anything have you made any trades of note?
I actually last night did not pull the trigger yet, but I'm very close on maybe finally trading. Ben, hold your breath, Ben. Be ready. Ronald Acuna in my home league, which is a 14-team head-to-head Cats keepers. This year we rotate. We go from 6 to 8 to 10. So each year. This year is a 10-keeper year. So draft not as valuable in the offseason. Bad time to trade Acuna if you're thinking for draft capital. But this guy is offering 2 keepers that I like. That would be Paul Skeens. And Jackson Holiday.
I would 1-for-1 Skeens for Acuna.
You would? In head-to-head Cats?
Head-to-head Cats for sure. Because I have Skeens in my home league also. And
it's standard 5x5 too, just to be clear. Standard Cats.
Okay. So that I think that still helps because he's leveling off your pitching side, which everybody undervalues in fantasy. Yet same number of categories on either side.
Mm-hmm.
But he's one of those strong. Of course, one pitch away, but Acuna is one whatever away from missing tons of time too.
Well, we've seen that.
But Skeens has your long term. He's got your age advantage, and he's already making the impact on the pitching side. I like
Holiday as steal. You did trade him last year. Okay.
I traded him in a massive trade where I think gave up my first 5 or 6 rounds of my draft picks for the guy's last 5 rounds because you have to trade pick for pick. And I ended up getting Aaron Judge in that deal. Nice. Can't complain. We're runner up in the league. But I paid for it draft day, watching everybody pick, make 100 selections before I got to make one. And it's now, you got to take a lot of chances the following year. But if you're not really hurting yourself because you have so many keepers, I think it's a great time to make a trade like that. It's when you only have 6 that I think it's harder to trade away a for sure guy because in the draft you can go and get some of those, this should be their year types to see if any of them stick.
I have Acuna in a league, and it's a league where I have a little bit of depth as far as outfield, and I had somebody come at me with an offer, and it wasn't. I think it was. He knows I'm a Braves guy, and so he knows he's going to have to pay up a bit. But it was something like Volpe and Schwellenbach for Acuna, and I went, eh. So I sent him back his O'Neill Cruz plus Schwellenbach for my Acuna, and this is now the thing that I struggle with a little bit on that one is it's a 5x5, but OBP instead of batting average, which that does hurt with Cruz just a touch, but Acuna isn't running right now. He has not attempted a stolen base yet. Now, there's folks that are talking about he did take off running one time. It was on a hit and run, folks.
You're right. Wow.
He's not attempted a stolen base since he came back.
So are you saying that this is the new way, or just how it is for now, Ben?
Just at least for a little while, at least. He's likely not going to be. He's not going to be a 70 steal guy for sure. And I don't know that you're going to see him go after 40, 50 even. And O'Neill Cruz is that type of talent to where he's going to get you good amount of home runs, a lot of steals, all that sort of stuff. So, boy, that I like that idea. If I can, maybe I have to toss in another guy to make it fully work. But I thought, you really want my Acuna, you're going to have to pay up for him because you know who I am. But at the same time, that was, I thought that was at least something to talk about, especially Cruz in an OBP league where that's not going to be Acuna probably is going to out OBP him by 30, 40 points most years. Although this year, that's not true. He's got like a 350 OBP. So,
yeah. But
Acuna is usually going to be 370-ish. And that's going to definitely be a significant advantage over normal for Cruz.
Absolutely. Chad wanted to ask Robbie real quick. I got a rare question for Robbie. When is Will Robertson going to get a shot?
He shouldn't.
Danger!
Will Robertson. I did say Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson.
Yes.
Poor old
Will Robertson.
Joey Loperfido, who I was trying to make a deal for today, is kicking around doing jack squat. He's on the 40 man. I don't think Robertson is.
What the hell happened there?
He could very well be an Alex Call where they do the right thing and release the guy and see if somebody else will take him and give him a chance. But he did well last year at AAA, like in Buffalo.
Okay.
But he's doing better this year. But
right, quick, precise answer. Well done. You nailed it.
So fantasy trades, guys. Let's revisit this next week. But the only big one I've made so far: Cal Raleigh, rest of season in a points league. I have potentially 4+ years of Shea Whitcomb, 2+ years of Bo Naylor, and a 9th round pick. And we'll see if anybody else has fun trades. Throw her in the chat. I'll save it for next week for us. We're gonna move on now to the Jesus Take the Wheel pick, and Jesus take the wheel. And scene. I'm victory lapping on both Soroka and Yarborough, who did excellent. And Shane Smith, who was the pick I made 2 weeks ago, has 1 start left on that.
Wait a minute. Wait.
What?
Well, Yarborough wasn't his last start though.
I had 2 or 3. I had Yarborough Magic.
Oh, Didn't Yarbrough get murdered for 8 earned runs the other day?
That was after.
Oh, that's what I meant. I was clarifying. Good. Okay,
that was one.
Off the hook.
I had 2 or 3 that I liked, and then he had the third. Great job. The start after he got blown up.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
Under my take the wheel, he nailed it. And then Shane Smith in his 2 starts, 9 innings pitched, 11 Ks, 1-0, 3 ERA, and he's got 1 left. So now that everybody's on board with value within the Jesus Take the Wheel pick, buckle up and get ready for some Mitch Spence because he's back in that A's rotation.
Oh boy!
And I like the idea here because he's taken on the Angels tomorrow night, who have been fine. Then 2 starts next week at home, Houston, Cleveland. Neither powerhouse lineups. We were just talking about Cleveland's struggles. Now there's 10, 12 days between now and that start. So we'll see exactly what happens. But so far this year, 4.09 ERA in mainly relief, 44 innings pitched, 41 Ks, and a 1.27 whip. He also, I believe, has 2 or 3 holds, something like that within that. The A's have been moving him around and did not put him in the rotation at any point until now. They look like they have some really solid other options that could come up long-term for them. But this is somebody who I don't think they're necessarily going to spot start and take him out, although sillier things have happened with the A's. So that's the next one up is Mitch Spence, and we'll check in a week and hope he's still in the rotation.
All right. Way to go, buddy. Nice job. Is it advertisement time?
Let's do it.
It is.
Woohoo! How about,
Bud Light?
I tried to Bud Light, make it a Bud Light. Last time I uploaded that other one and it just spun forever. That really bummed me out because I really feel like we have a lot of videos that we could share with you guys, and I love these old stupid commercials. There's so many of them, and
maybe while you set it up, you'll want to cut me off, so you set up as quick as you can. Wander Franco news, which everyone is really excited about.
Oh no!
He's in court and apparently in tears as they're discussing these alleged incidents.
Yeah,
Govier's never clicked play so hard on an ad.
I know, I'm dying to hit play on it, but it's exciting. He got busted for a gun now, and he's only 24 years old still. I read that today, and I was like, shit, he's still so young. These mistakes, yes, it's awful, but he's still a human being who's young. He may look back in 20 years and be like, God damn it, what happened? How did I get here?
Yeah,
I do feel for him in that respect, but then of course, well, you don't feel for the victim? Of course I feel for the victim. So I don't even feel like I need to say that. But just in case anybody gets the wrong idea here when I discuss these things on the internet. Okay? Thank you so much. I do.
All right. You got an ad? Ad? No ad? Moving on?
I don't know what happened. I guess every ad. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Tasting Ricola is blended from organically grown Swiss alpine herbs and other natural ingredients. Ricola, natural herb cough drops from Switzerland. Ricola. Now available and sugar-free, naturally.
She's saying Ricola, and they're saying
I noticed that too. I know right away. I'm like, interesting. Well, if you think that's controversial, wait till the main topic tonight, guys. So we're setting up a lineup of prospects for the NL East teams. So that is Atlanta, the Mets, Miami, Washington, and Philly. So if you have any guys you think are worthy of a spot, and this is a normal lineup with 5 pitchers and a regular starting lineup, we're going to do the same thing for the AL East, which is Baltimore, Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. Throw your names in the chat if you think there's somebody worthy, because we're going to start it off with my favorite position, catcher. We're going to go with the NL East, and we're not going to consider Drake Baldwin as we're going to call it. No. He's a graduated guy. Yep. So next man up potentials, we've got Philly nominating Eduardo Tate, Miami with Joe Mack, and Washington with Caleb Lomavita, who was drafted last year. So Ben, what's your pick of this here?
We're
building a fantasy lineup.
If I'm doing a fantasy lineup, I want Joe Mack because he's got the defense and he's going to hit me 20 home runs. So he's going to be consistently in the lineup because of that defense. And then he's got the power to give me something. I mean, Loma Vida might be a better guy overall stat line long term. Tate probably has the highest upside of all of them. Both of them are still currently in A-ball.
Right.
And there's some question on Tate's defense. So, but yeah, Mac, give me him all day long.
Yeah, I put Tate on because I thought he was a fun one. Also, I just thought the division overall only really had Joe Mack, so I was kind of looking. And credit to Washington having a guy at nearly every position here. I like the idea of Tate, but as you mentioned, he is in A-ball. He's also 18 in A-ball, so that's fun. But
18.
I think it's Mac. So Govier, do you got a guy?
Yeah, there's a bad Wander Franco joke in there. No, I'm just along for the ride. I'm along for the ride.
No.
How can I disagree with Joe Mack? I mean, what a legend. I mean, if you look around at these teams, I think he's hard to top. I say that's true.
All right, so Joe Mack's our official catcher. So Govier, then, if you're not going to give opinions on all of them, you set us up and tell us who our names are.
Well, I'll give opinions. I'm also might drop in and out of, but I'm very excited for the next one here. It's called first base. It's where a lot of tall people usually play a position, but you don't have to be tall. Spencer Horwitz has tried to make it work despite barely being 6 feet tall, and I think Doug Mankiewicz was tall, was he not?
I think you really just need to be flexible and not short.
Right, flexibility, yoga, all that jazz. Yeah. Anywho, Ben, who you got at first?
I plugged in one on there when I was going through here. Otto Kemp primarily played first base in the 2024 AFL.
Okay,
you cheated,
and he's played a dozen games at first base and played another dozen games at second and played about 40 at third base this year. I know he's coming up to play third, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets a little bit of first base time. I plugged him in there, but my vote probably would go for Ryan Clifford.
There it is. Robbie?
Other potential guys for anybody out there, Device and De Los Santos, who everybody should remember how excited they were.
He still hasn't
about
debuted.
The former Rule 5 pick, and now with Miami. Clifford was the other name, as Ben mentioned. And then Washington has Yohandy Morales, who is the 23 second-round pick, who I quite like.
Yes,
that's
like
my pick for this. So, Govier, you get to be the decider here. Do you want the first baseman / outfielder Ryan Clifford with the Mets, or do you want some Yohandy Morales?
Boy, you look at both profiles at first base for our dream team here. Clifford's 6'3", Yohandy Morales is 6'3". Everything's so even. So I got to go with the team I prefer a little bit more, and I'll go with the Nationals and Morales.
All right. So we got Joe Mack and Yohandy Morales. I love it already.
Time to go to the Keystone. Well, it's not a corner, but the Keystone position, second base, which is the position I played the most when I was in Little League. Good times at second base. There's a lot of choices for second base between these 10 teams. Well, Robbie, let's go to you first. Let's throw a curveball at you.
I'll just quickly go back. You talking about playing second base? I'm playing mixed league, co-ed softball, mixed league. Yeah, whatever. I got to play first base at our last game. Very excited. Talking about stretching. Realized that after I played the first inning of first base, I need to really stretch out. Anyway, but at second base here, between Phillies, Arun Escobar, the Mets, Colin Hook, and Miami's Abraham Ramirez, I like Phillies. Escobar. I'm not this position to me was one of the weakest that we had of all five. Unfortunately, I mean, there's going to be a shortstop who's going to end up playing second base. So on the next one.
But we're talking about the same guy.
I think
just in general.
Well, in general, yeah, I think. And one of the guys that I didn't even put on the shortstop list is Miami's Carter Johnson, who I think profiles best as a second baseman, but they haven't moved him full time there yet. He was a really, really, really good high school player last year coming into the draft, but he's a high school kid in his first full season. So it's kind of hard to push him above folks that are actually putting out pretty good lines so far. So
are we not allowed to include Maximo Acosta as a second baseman? Is he a shortstop?
He is. I just don't know what I love Acosta for a floor guy. as in he'll come up to the majors and be just very solid as a bench guy. I don't know that he's a major league starter.
That's too bad.
Yeah, and lots of talent there. He needs it. If he could take a step forward in his plate discipline, he absolutely could do a lot better. But he also doesn't hit the ball all that hard. That's
I'll have to live with it then. That's my life. I have Maximo Acosta. Didn't work out. So the final verdict is who? I can't decide.
I'm Arun Escobar.
I'm going to say Escobar. Yep.
Okay, it's universal. Woo-hoo! Yeah!
At least get a guy on the board.
Let's go over to third base, and then we'll go to shortstop. Look at that. I'm throwing a curveball at you guys again. Another
curveball pitcher we got tonight.
Because that's how you do it, right? For some reason, when I'm like filling out a lineup, when I'm at second,
here.
I go to third, and then I go to short. I don't know why I do that.
70% curveballs. What the hell?
Charlie Morton in the house. That's right. All right, Ben, back to you for the third base, the hot corner, as they say.
I'm going to go with Brady House from Washington, but I have to tell you, Jacob Reimer from New York makes this a lot closer than it probably should be. Brady House has just kind of always been right on the cusp of his talent level, but he is producing. It's nothing amazing, but he is producing this year, and should force his way into Washington by the end of the year. But yeah, Jacob Reimer has been one of the most impressive guys I've watched this year as far as the steps he's taken in a year. I really think that he could be defensively a very solid third baseman. Plus, there's just a lot to like in his hit profile. So,
okay, Robbie, personal choice.
Brady House, that's the guy for me. I did see and I did nominate Nacho Alvarez with Atlanta, and then I see
Still alive?
Ben, you also put David McCabe. Well, Alvarez is hurt, so we just don't get to.
He has been. Yeah, he just got assigned to rehab today.
Right?
Actually.
Oh, is he finally rehabbing today? Thank you. I've been waiting for him on a dynasty team I have all season. Man, been waiting.
Yep, just got assigned today. McCabe is a guy who last year was recovering from Tommy John, so he DH'd the whole year. And now he's back at third base. He's an older guy at 25, but wouldn't surprise me if he goes somewhere, obviously with Austin Riley in front of him with a whole lot of money invested there. I highly doubt that McCabe is going to supplant him. But
hey, guess who just hit a home run? Ron Acuna.
Yeah, I was watching it. I'm happy.
Oh. Too bad he doesn't pitch, though, Ben.
Yeah. Hey, you know who else hit a home run?
Wow, dude.
Hey, you know who else hit a home run? Bo Naylor. Bo Naylor, who I just traded for. He hit a home run.
Woo-hoo! That's a grade A trade. I'm calling it. You've already won the trade.
Austin Riley hit a double and forced Brewers to bring in DL Hall. So now we get to watch DL Hall give up about 6 home runs and 7 walks. Yeah. So
not yet. You can't say that yet because Hall's been good so far.
Okay.
This could be the moment, though. So,
I was to say he's always standing on a ledge.
Jordy wants a shout out. I don't know why. Anyways, there you go. That's third base. I love Brady House. I'm really regretting that I don't have him on a team that I was holding him in an NA spot and then I moved on. I hate that, but that's life. Now let's go to shortstop here. This is the NL East dream team of prospects. Our starting lineup at shortstop. Robbie, who you got?
So this is top candidates: position. Phillies Aiden Miller, Mets Jet Williams, Marlins Starlin Caba, Washington Seaver King, and Washington Luke Jackson. I'm
not that Luke Jackson.
I'm just going to be different. Oh, Dickerson. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, Luke Jackson?
It was a white guy name. I'm
Dickerson, come on, man.
I'm going to try to get another Marlin on the board here, and I'm going to go with Starling Caba. I think that they're, I'm just looking here, 19 years old. He is injured now for 6. I'm just checking. 60-day. Started 3 weeks ago for him. So we won't see him again till the hot summer. So it's going to seem like somewhat of a lost season. So I don't know that this is a winning pick for me, but I really think that there is something here with old Starlin. So that's my guy, even though I see now I've spelt his name wrong with an I, not a Y.
That's okay, buddy. You learn, you live and learn.
God. But anyway,
Ben, you go
I got
a different
Caba.
direction than him?
What's that?
You go to a different direction than Robbie?
Yeah, I would go with Aiden Miller of this group. That said, I don't know that Aiden Miller is a shortstop in the majors. I think he's probably got the best offensive profile of anyone in this group, but he's likely going to be at a different position because he's still filling into his body. He's added like 20 pounds since the draft, and he's still filling into his body. So, and that's just, I'm no longer 17 and skinny weight. That's, growing into your body weight, which is still, he still looks like a healthy guy, but you keep adding more and more weight. It gets you a little, as we all know, as you add on weight, it gets more difficult to be flexible. So it's tough to
that
play.
don't sound like Huey Lewis. It's difficult to be flexible. Bam, bam, now, it doesn't quite fit, but it had the cadence of it, Ben. It did.
You could make it work. If I gave you 10 minutes,
10 minutes?
You could lay down a track that would make
I think I could make it. You're right. What about Salas over Caba? According to Chad here, he's nominating Salas. You got the wrong position, Chad. We're on shortstop right now. I apologize. As we now move.
OBP is the thing for me. So who are we officially picking? Are we going with Miller? I don't disagree with the Miller pick.
I'm going to go with Miller, too. Yeah, if I'm breaking the tie, I go Miller here.
All right, it's Miller time.
Just because I'm just going to see him sooner. I think that's obvious.
And again, Caba, my big thing with him is walks. The guy walks, OBP machine, smart hitter, smart at the plate, blah, blah, blah.
We love that.
Not a big frame, but anyway.
Wait, is Salas not playing short for the Marlins, Ben?
Nope.
He is not.
Center field primary and does play a little short, a little bit of second, but he has.
Sounds like
I was just going to go back.
Who is this for the uninitiated?
Andrew Salas. He is one of the Salas brothers. So Ethan is his brother. Jose is his brother. They're both still top prospects in their respective organizations. But let's see here. I'm going back since the 17th of May here. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 games, and 5 of them have been not center field. So he's been mostly playing center field. He was going to be making that transition, and they were sneaking him out there and doing a lot of work with him. And it's become his more permanent position now.
See, I'm glad we cleared the air. Now someone learned something today, Chad. There you go, my friend.
All right, for one, because I have him nominated when we get to the outfield here, so that's why.
Did we?
That's why I looked him up.
Did we? Okay, good. Did we get specific with left, right, center, or just outfield?
No, I just wanted to kind of have like a number 1, number 2, and then the conversations about the number 3. So,
all right.
I did find of these 5 teams, I felt outfield was not necessarily a strength.
No.
Oh no.
So,
especially not at the upper levels.
Yeah, and so to me, Mets, Carson, Benji, we're gonna go with.
Benji, I love it.
I like it.
Would be one.
The dog.
And I know, you're not a PJ Orlando guy, are you, Ben?
Oh no, I like his skills. I just think he's a first baseman long term.
Okay,
I don't think he's an outfielder.
Because I have Carson, I've got PJ, and I've got Justin Crawford of the Phillies as the 3 guys that I thought were solid picks for this. And then obviously let's discuss the rest and let's bump some of these guys around. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Benji, there you go. He got it.
There you go.
In Canada, you can pronounce the G like J-I.
But really? I will tell you that there is only one person on this planet allowed to call me Benji. So, and actually he's no longer on this planet. So that's
rest in peace.
I also mentioned AJ Ewing of the Mets.
Ewing.
I liked him a lot, and he has taken a big step forward this year. Andrew Salas is another one I mentioned. We've talked a little bit about him. Kemp Alderman, who he doesn't do anything outstanding, but he does everything well. There's nothing where you're going to be like, oh, he's hitting 330. Oh, he's hitting 20 home runs. He's going to hit 280 with some doubles and home runs and plays a solid defense and just keeps moving up the Marlins system. And that's a team that definitely, if you can not screw up, you're going to have an outfield spot, because that's really kind of what they're dealing with right now, is a whole lot of guys who tend to have real bad, long issues.
Okay.
Dante Nori is one, which I know, he might have some Canadian connection here. So
he's got the Northville, Michigan connection is what he's got. That's right, Northville High, where I was a student teacher in 2010. Shout out Northville High Mustangs. Woo woo!
Robbie put in. Robbie had put in Luis Guanipa with the Braves. He has really been struggling. I actually really like Isaiah Drake, who's a guy they drafted 2 years ago. Really he's taken a big step forward in his plate discipline this year. I still think he's a low A guy that has a lot of volatility to what he can be. So I still wouldn't put him above any of these other guys right now. But if I were to argue with any of Ben Orlando or Crawford, it'd probably be with Ewing right now. But I think by the end of the year, Salas could be that guy. He started so well at 17 in A-ball. He's taken a lot of pitches. But yeah, I really, really like Salas a lot. I just think I don't want to do the Ethan Salas thing with him. I don't want to do what everyone did with his brother, which is make him a top 10 prospect before he's ever really seen a curveball.
But Ben, it's worked out great. It's totally worked out great.
In all seriousness, Ethan Salas is one of the best defensive catchers in the minors, but everyone keeps holding on to him in a dynasty league thinking he's going to hit, which no.
Nope, not having it.
Well, and he was a high drafted guy, or you put a lot of money into your whatever to acquire him. He was not a cheap guy. So we agree on Crawford?
On Crawford, on Benj, and on Moreland. I'll agree on all three of them. That's just, like I said,
if I were going that, and then we'll see if we feel the same way at end of season.
Yep.
Yay! Sweet. So do we do a DH or just a starting pitcher?
No. Let's not get into that.
Okay. Okay. Great. Good.
Let's just do a rotation.
Oh, we're doing
that's going to be tough enough. This is the area where the NL East, all of the teams have at least one guy you're like, oh, yeah, he's him. And they have, some of them have multiple. Miami and Washington have a lot of guys where you're like, oh, that guy, I like that guy a lot. So that's, where we're at with these organizations. I really like the 5 you put in, although I think I'm only going to have one guy that I would probably substitute out of that whole group. But Robbie initially mentioned Thomas White of Miami, Andrew Painter of the Phillies, Jonah Tong of the Mets, and then Washington teammates Travis Sakura and Harleen Susanna.
And really, it's just because I was giving Clemmy a break from mentioning him and my true love for him.
You and I both. We both really like the Clemmy. But the guy who I would probably plug in over Susanna right now and is Robbie Snelling. Just really liking what he's done this year. And but other than that,
what about Noble Meyer?
That's just it. There's a lot of other good talent here. J.R. Ritchie has had a hell of a year this year.
Yeah.
Now that he's healthy.
This is tough.
Noble Meyer, Brandon Sproat, who's another one who's had a really solid year. But the guy that I added on here that I think folks need to get to know his name is Nolan McLean with the Mets. Was a two-way guy and actually hit last year still. But about midway through the season, they said, you know what? This hitting thing, you can hit the ball a long, long ways, but you can't hit it otherwise. So we're going to focus on the pitching, and he has become dominant. This year, he's been at the upper levels this year, and he is pitching such that I wouldn't be surprised if he got a late season call-up.
Okay.
My only thing with McLean, the big thing right now is the third pitch is not great. The first 2 pitches are dominant, and I think that might mean this year he's a reliever if he gets called up. But long term, he's got a workable third and even fourth pitch. It's just a matter of he needs to use them more, and he hasn't had to in the lower levels, and now he's having to a little bit more in the upper levels, and doesn't quite have the feel yet for him.
Oh, I was wondering why I didn't, because I'm always over on the Pallazzo Patreon, folks, if you're curious at all.
Utah.
Check that out.
Give me
Link
2.
in the description. I'm doing a watch list of guys to keep an eye on for redraft purposes as well. So AAA guys who are close. And I didn't put him on list, but I usually look at last 30 days, and he does have 14 walks to 25K. So when I see a ratio like that, I'm like, well, I feel like he's got some more issues to work out still.
They're
Doesn't mean he's
really
not special.
Pushing, his first 2 starts in AAA, I think, were something like 90% his top 2 pitches. And now they're forcing him to work on the 3rd and the 4th pitch. And so,
wow, Josh Hader
but
vibes.
they're good. I mean, they're good pitches. They would work.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had to use them and hasn't had to set them up. So it just needs some time, and he could be there. But I don't think he's there yet to push any of the other guys out.
Right. That makes sense to me.
You know, Robbie and I both love us some Clemmy, and that probably would be a personal favorite choice for the 5th guy.
But, and this is not the episode to get into it, but Clemmy's line, and I just wanted to point out this is why he's not in. 48 and 2/3 innings pitched, 42 walks.
Yeah.
Yes, he does have 71 Ks, but it's walks where I'm concerned. And then you guys both mentioned Noble Meyer, who I think I had written him in, but Meyer and I follow the Sky Carp, the high A team for the Marlins, because I did see them play, went to the stadium, thought everything was so cool there last year. They're not posting a whole lot about what he goes out and what he goes out and does when he goes out and starts, whatever grammar. But Thomas White, they're all over his starts. Like he's their team stud, and Myers repeating a 5+ ERA in high A this year, and in 32 and 2/3 innings pitched, he's got 19 walks, 42 Ks, 1.47 WHIP. It's going to be like a couple good starts to fix it, but he has not yet dominated at the level, and it's not that he needs to. He's 20 years old? Yeah, he's 20 years old. It's just that's why he wasn't necessarily a guy I thought of for this one. But Snelling, I like that, and we still can believe in the Marlins, right, guys? Yeah. Do we all agree? We still believe in them. So, are we going to slide McLean in as the SP5 here?
No, I would still stick with Snelling over him. Right?
Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah,
all right.
I agree with Ben.
I do think
end of show recap on that lineup, and we can move to the East.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wait a minute, but we got to give Britton, a friend of the show, who's actually also on the show. Who gets called sooner, real quick? Jacob Miz or Colby Thomas?
Colby Thomas. Yeah, it's Colby Thomas because Mizorowski is going to be dealing with. The
Brewers have arms up the ass, so it's just a mess.
They aren't going to bring him up right now until he can be in the rotation. That is just the way they have turned that switch. If you would have asked me last season, at the end of last season, they were looking at him as a potential reliever. They're fully on board with him as a starter now. He made some big strides forward in his ability to start, to go deep, to use other pitches. He's absolutely going to be a starter. And so they are not going to bring him up until they have a for sure spot. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Brewers, guess what DL Hall did after he got brought into the game?
Struck out the side. Did your prediction
come true? Yeah, struck out the side.
Not only did he give up a home run, but he gave up a lefty home run to Matt Olson. So I said 6 home runs.
And Logan Henderson's not coming back either. They got too many. This is all post-trade deadline to me. Yeah. Unless there's more injuries, caveat, if there are injuries, that will open up
Carlos
spots.
Rodriguez,
Otherwise,
the forgotten man.
Yeah, Carlos F. Rodriguez, just like Luis F. Ortiz. We got to be clear on that, okay? All right, so let's get into the AL East now, right? We're doing this?
Absolutely. AL East.
Woo! AL East Dream Team prospect lineup, folks. We're going to start right off with catcher. It's a no-brainer because it's the AL East. The answer is, say it with me now.
It's Samuel Basallo.
Thank you. Great.
But here's the thing. Get to know Brooks Bannon with Boston. I'm not saying he's there yet. 2022 9th rounder out of high school. And high school catching usually takes just a little bit in the lower levels to kind of get used to what the heck they're doing. He's a guy who has the ability to potentially be a bat and glove sort of guy. Whereas Basallo is almost entirely bat first sort of guy. So,
right. So
which has worked out well for Kobe Mayo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a whole nother deal.
I know. Sorry for bringing that one up, but
disagree or agree?
Basillo, and it's a weak position across the East.
Okay, great. I love it. I can't wait.
There's a lot of backup catcher profiles in the East.
Yeah,
there's nobody who really has that starter upside. So.
Right. That's why I thought it was an easy one. All right. So first base, who you got, Robbie?
So I put Xavier Isaac because I thought first base was probably the weakest one here. And I didn't even think to put Blaze Jordan on, which Ben did.
Wow.
And I love the idea of Blaze Jordan because he once upon a time was a guy I scooped up. I know he was like a YouTuber, or not YouTuber, but he was a guy who there were clips on. Yeah, and he's had mental health struggles, and we've discussed all that. But since his promotion to AAA, which is, hey, first-time promotion for a 22-year-old here, he's just clicked. His whole year's been really good. Mm-hmm. So I think I would like to change my answer now to Blaze Jordan.
One thing I will
the fact that I have shares and I want him to be successful.
It is interesting that he is almost perfectly splitting time between first and third with in AAA, and he was called up to AAA after Bregman went down. I almost wonder a little bit if they aren't grooming him a little bit to potentially bring up, which we can all love Marcelo Meyer, but Marcelo Meyer is obviously not third baseman. I watched him play a few games there, and man, he went over to the net and he had no idea what the hell to do with a ball that was near the net. He's so out of his element in foul ground as a third baseman, which that is a big part of playing that position. If you can't get good reads in the foul ground, you're going to have trouble. So
we are on first base, correct?
Yeah. Yep. But I'm just saying,
spaced out.
Just saying, Blaze Jordan may have a chance to come up
early. He's been split time. He's known as a first baseman. He's just also
Yep. Okay, so Blaze Jordan becomes both your universal choices. I'll have to roll with it then. Fine. I guess there's just no other options. Next is second base. Now, in the AL East, you have 5 teams, right? And they all play in the American East, which is, generally actually from Florida all the way up to New York and Boston. So who is the second baseman that stands out the most? And even international waters. Very rare. The Great Lakes area, Toronto. Is there a second baseman in Toronto that takes the cake, Robbie?
God, no. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, okay.
It's an Arias. It's just, do you prefer Roderick or Franklin? And I think Franklin is more the guy, but realistically, Roderick had the prospect type earlier.
Yeah,
so
they're both a long ways off.
Yeah.
And honestly, we're getting into this next group. And if I were, let's just say I'm putting together a real life team, I am forcing someone in the shortstop group off and onto second base because there is an all-time elite type of defender among the group we're going to talk about that it would probably force that conversation. So
but George Lombard can't be a second baseman in this case?
Well, I mean, he can. He's played some, but right now
he is a shortstop. He's got to stay in his box for now. That's what does make second base weak. And when we do all this, it's going to make second base weaker short term, but long term when a guy moves over, super.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we agree on Arias. Arias?
I think Franklin
Arias.
Yeah.
Franklin.
He's getting a lot of hype. I'm hearing a lot about him now. I know the hype train is really taking off on Franklin Arias. So I don't know if he'll be a Gabriel Arias, though. So we'll see if he can top Gabriel Arias' career so far. But, anyways, I'll just start going down the Arias tunnel. Third base, the hot corner. I'm taking you over to third in the AL East. Is there a clear-cut choice, Benjamin Chase?
I mean, right now, yes. But we're starting to see that maybe Kobe Mayo is not all that.
Yeah.
And that's, right now, based on talent, based on everything else, you'd say Kobe Mayo. And just mainly because for one, it's a weak position in the division otherwise. And the guys who are there that you could consider are probably, we have mentioned Orelvis Martinez, and then I put in Fraley Encarnacion in the Red Sox system.
Oh, boy.
Orelvis, we just really haven't seen enough from this year to push over Mayo. And then Encarnacion is so far away that you really can't make that move. So, I think right now it's still Mayo, but this would be a really good one to let's talk about at the end of the season.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be new names, and that's going to be draft-related and signing. Because Orelvis Martinez, since being caught for Papin, the suspension obviously, but average has been an issue. OBP has been an issue. It's going to remain an issue. And obviously, or not obviously, but potentially moving off third base is also something that might be happening. So we'll see. Yeah, to me, it's Mayo.
This year, AAA is bogus for Rovis Martinez.
It's Mayo, but it's not the real thing.
It's not. So bring out the Hellmans and bring out the best.
Yeah, we need a Hellman third baseman as opposed to just a Mayo.
We do. So we're going with. I guess we're going with
Kobe, but
Mayo?
Nobody likes it.
Yeah, I don't feel okay. Wow, what a strange
I feel good about this choice.
Shortstop. Now here we go.
This is a
good
really good position.
Every team has a guy,
at least one.
Yeah.
So Ben, who you got?
Well, I will say the guy who's going to stick it short long term is going to be Carson Williams. I just mentioned he is a holy crap elite defender at the position and offers you enough with home runs and stolen bases that he's gonna stick in the lineup going forward with Tampa. Especially, I mean, they're playing freaking Taylor Walls. I mean, if they're willing to put up with that, then they're going to definitely be willing to put up with Chandler Simpson.
I saw Kim coming back in the next week. We'll say that.
Maybe that should be where
Chandler goes. But my choice here is going to be Lombard. It's really, really tight for me with Lombard Jr. and Namala because those two have really shown a lot this year, both of them. But I don't know that either one of them plays an inning in the major leagues at shortstop. But right now, for the best prospect that I would pick out of this group, that's where I would go.
Okay. Yeah, the potential of Mayer had me intrigued, and then I did put in George, and I'm with you. I think that's the guy. He's the fun pick, and he's doing well, and yada yada.
Arjun's too young.
So, to me, he needs more baseball.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on that.
Okay.
He's made big improvements this year, but let's see it as he gets. How does that look in August?
Yeah, you draft a young guy, you need to play the young guy, and he needs to see like 350 at bats, and then 400, and then how does he do the next year at 450? And yeah, so all right, so we got George Lombardi Jr. there. Sweet, let's go to the
Lombardi. Did you say Lombardi? I'm just saying you did. So
I did.
It's fine though. Outfield in the AL East, the prospect dream team lineup. Who we got in the outfield? Robbie, you seem fired up. I want to hear something.
So Chandler Simpson, to me, I'm super pissed about Tampa demoting him. I can't honestly understand. For fantasy guys out there, I don't have a share of them, but he did things he's not supposed to do. So why would you send him down Tampa Bay? Like, he hit for a high average, and of course he stole bases. But anyway, so Roman Anthony pre-call up didn't matter. Anthony's all hyped up. And then Boston's got another one, and I'm not going to pronounce it right, so I didn't even write it in properly.
Password.
Yeah, the password Garcia.
Justinson.
Honey, it's Justinson Garcia, okay?
And there's lots of other potential guys here. I think,
guys?
Enrique Bradfield Jr. He was very popular when he was drafted.
What about Vance Honeycutt, Ben's boy?
Vance, I thought about writing him, but I just didn't care enough to. Spencer Jones has been steadily falling off since he's been drafted, but he's still there. Theo Gillen, Dylan Beavers with Baltimore. Yeah, like there's a lot of guys here. It's just a matter of like which ones will stick, like get a chance and stick. And Simpson, who I thought had deserved it, got sent down. So really, it depends on the organization. And Tampa Bay, as you said, Ben, like they're willing to put Taylor Walls at shortstop, but they're not letting a guy who could lead the league in stolen bases lead the league in stolen bases.
And I will say the big reason there is, I for some reason I was going to pull up to get this information. I cannot get Fangraphs to pull up, but he is, according to the Baseball Reference version of DRS of defensive runs saved, he was worth a -5 defensive run saves in that short amount of time defensively. He is a really, really poor defender. That's the biggest issue.
Really?
Yeah. Just
see, I think people just assume fast guys. Yeah. It doesn't mean
of speed, no instincts.
Yep. It's like all those classic movies you see. Like, remember on Necessary Roughness, Stone Hands? He could run like the wind, but he can't catch the ball. Just because you're fast doesn't mean you can do everything else.
Yeah. The one that we didn't mention, Yohendrick Pinango was always a guy that I liked when he was with Chicago, and he has figured some stuff out in Toronto's system that still to me means that he's like a high average, high OBP, middling power, middling steals sort of guy. I mean, one of those guys that's going to be a plug in your 7 spot in real life in a lineup, but not so great as far as your fantasy lineups sort of guy. And that's but it's positive to see that, and he's doing it in the upper levels, so you have to appreciate that much. But yeah, I think that the top 3 are the top 3 there that you mentioned, that Anthony and Garcia. But yeah, I love that you put Theo Gillen on here, because he has just been really, really fun to watch. Folks need to, if you have a chance to go on YouTube, to go on Twitter, and find some Theo Gillen video. He does something about every other day that is highlight worthy. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I love you.
Let's move. We're Govier canoodles with his wifey.
Oh, hey, come on, man. She got me some water. How nice is that? I'm thirsty.
Very kind, yeah.
All right. Now we get some ASMR. There we go.
There, yeah, perfect. Yeah. That's good.
That's delicious. It's a spot.
I found an ASMR off-topic guy who does work on vehicles and things, and he goes through it all. Really? But like he's
hear, like,
it's real
tools
video of him
or...
doing it. Well, it's not just the noises. He's actually like doing work on like whatever various mechanical things. And I've been watching him work on a truck, and like you see how he goes through the process, and then you can see like it's tough in this garage to move his truck and do these things, and deflates the tires to get it out, and all these. Wow. And I'm like, yeah, I can enjoy this. And then at work I can put on my second screen, and then I can just do my work. And it's, I don't know why, the sound of the wrenches and things, as well as the kitchen in the background, allows me to focus on spreadsheet BS when I have to do it at work. Soothing. But anyway, let's get into rotations for everybody who's more.
AL East rotations.
And NL East was really strong in pitching. This is a really, really weak division in pitching.
Wow.
And it might end up as a result of maybe this division signs more free agent pitchers than the rest. I don't know. But I always think of like the Yankees buying the rotation, right? The Red Sox buying the rotation, and then like Baltimore doesn't. They buy guys, but you don't want to call that.
No, this guy's got to be on the list, right?
Well, I mentioned him. Let's just say it. Let's put it that way. There are some guys that have taken big steps forward this year, but I think that the cream of the crop is absolutely Trey Savage, and he just got promoted today to Double-A. There's a very good chance you see Trey Savage in.
Was it just today, or did he skip? Is this his third level this year?
Third level this year. He started out in single A, and then I think he had like 2 starts in high A, and now
then he moved through. Yeah,
now he's getting bumped up. Everything that you thought was really, really good about Trey Savage coming into the draft last year, before he had that unfortunately timed injury in the college World Series playoffs. Yeah, that's the guy that he's shown up to be. That he was considered maybe a top 5 pick in last year's draft, like right along the lines of Chase Burns and Hagen Smith. And now, here he is. And that's the guy you've got. Other than that, there's a lot of, I don't know if I would take. I do like what Hopkins has done. I guess that's the other guy. That's probably
too bad we lost Chase Hampton, huh, Robbie?
Yeah, super sucks. We need more time for Hampton of the Yankees to return, because he was 2 years ago pop-up prospect or pitcher of the year kind of guy. We need him back, but Tampa Bay's got Brody Hopkins. Toronto obviously is Savage. The Yankees have a few guys, but I really like Bryce Cunningham, but I think Bryce Cunningham, who unfortunately I traded away in one of my leagues earlier this year, started hot, and I dealt him. It's going to work out to be a horrible trade for me, but him, Ben Hess, and then Carlos Lagrange.
Lagrange.
Yep.
ZZ Top?
There's a bunch of different ways. You got a few Yankee options.
The pop-up guy has been Griffin Herring this year, who's a lefty for the Yankees, but I think he's he's really heavy 2 pitches.
Okay.
And
so good right now, maybe not good as he moves up.
Maybe, as he moves up, let's see. But I mean, might be a reliever 2-pitch guy, but right. Boston might have the rest of this rotation. That is and it's all lefties. That's the really crazy part. As far as the guys that I really think Peyton Tolley, Brandon Clark, and Connolly Early could all make an argument to be the final 3 guys on this rotation.
Like Tiedemann's fallen back, right? Tiedemann was the guy a couple years ago. We also saw this as Toronto. Anyone in Toronto area is Nate
the hype
Pearson,
was out of control.
Ricky Tiedemann, and then you can get into Alek Manoah as was he a success, wasn't he? But like what is left for Alek Manoah? Does he have a career ahead of him? Oh my goodness. So
isn't that sad?
It is, absolutely.
It's coming back.
Really sad to say.
Yeah. He's coming back, and we'll see what he is when he returns. But
so the playoff hunt.
Hopkins, Savage. Who do we want to go with here? I'm willing to accept Cunningham. And then we do have other nominees, Griffin Herring, Braxton Bragg. It's just hard to pick any Oriole knowing that they'll find a way to screw him up.
Which stinks because Bragg is one of those late bloomers that really has shown out this year and was a guy who always had the stuff. And you're like, gosh, he'd be fun to see take that next step. He would, even when he was in college at Dallas Baptist, and then he finally is kind of put it together, and 67 strikeouts in 51 innings in A and AA this year with a 1.24 ERA. I mean, the guy got out of, only 3 starts, but got out of high A without allowing a run to open the year and has done pretty darn well in AA since. But he's also 24 in AA because he transferred from Nebraska to Dallas Baptist and used all 4 of his years.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he's an older guy, but gosh, this is the guy that would be a perfect number 4 inning eater type of starter that can also happen to throw 98. So could have one of those holy crap runs in a playoff series type of thing. But yeah, like you said, he's with the friggin' Orioles. You just know they're going to find a way in AA, AAA to screw this up.
Yeah, I just have no confidence in them, which is, it sucks when it happens with these teams, but it's, Boston's got that log jam of guys, and some way, somehow, they gotta play. They gotta give it back to certain guys, and whoever's going to be the hot hand will do it. But for pitchers, it's just, I mean, oh man, just thinking of all of the wasted Orioles that you see, and I'm trying to, oh my goodness, who's the current guy coming back from injury? Grayson Rodriguez. The next one. What are we going to realistically see from this former, top pitching prospect? So, all right, Ben, let's end it though. So we agree on Hopkins, Savage. Who are our final 3? You want Tolley in this? You want Clark?
I want Tolley in there for sure. Okay. Beyond that, man, Clark has been a pop-up this year. I kind of like to see him do it.
Okay, so he's got to prove it to us. Yep.
Before he gets into that space.
So he's out.
So I think it's between Early and Cunningham. Well, Cunningham in the 3, and then Early for maybe the 5 there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Connolly Early.
It's a really fun, impressive group. And what I will say, Chad has mentioned Ty Johnson in the
former Cubby.
And Tampa has a crap ton of really interesting arms.
We didn't even talk about Ian Seymour. He got the call after we talked about him before.
Finally, he's like 27, but Tampa has a lot of really good pitching options. But they tend to get their guys do very, very well still in the minors and then just never really get an opportunity. I mean, look at what Joe Boyle is doing this year. Joe's really, really, really pitched well in the opportunities he's had in the majors, and they just don't hand him a spot because the guy's throwing 98 and actually controlling it now. That's a dominant potential starter, and they're just not giving him the opportunity to be that.
Zach Little's on a stupid run. He's not that good, but he's on a run. So it's happening right now.
That's a Tampa thing, and it really makes me struggle to pump up one of their pitching prospects too much. Because, I mean, 2 years ago, we were all going, oh, Mason Montgomery is going to be the next big lefty in Tampa. And now he's in their bullpen. Doing fairly well. It is in their bullpen, but he's in their bullpen.
Oh, Kyle Gibbs is in their AAA system now. That's a fun update. There you go. Ian Seymour equals Jake Faria? As Robbie puts on his sous chef. Is that what you're doing there? You got the whole get-up on? Just to hang out with the other ones locked in the prison room that Britton keeps referring to?
Yeah. Those who shall not be named. What is the number one rule in the kitchen, guys?
Yes, chef?
Trust no one. Okay, so we figured out the lineups for the NL East and the AL East.
Yay!
Who wants to do the recap?
Oh,
go ahead. Well, you did it, didn't you?
Okay, I'll just say, so NL East starting lineup.
Mm.
Catcher, Miami's Joe Mack. First baseman, Washington's Yohandy Morales. Second base, let me timestamp this. Oh my God, I don't want to get my hands wrapped after. Second baseman, Phillies Arun Escobar, as well as our starting shortstop, Aiden Miller. Washington's Brady House is third base, and our outfield has a mixture of Mets, Phillies, and Marlins. Carson
Benji,
that's what we're going to agree on. PJ Morlando and Justin Crawford. Yet to mention a Brave. Don't worry, we won't when we get to pitchers.
Wow.
Miami's Thomas White is going to be our fantasy ace. Andrew Painter, Jonah Tong, Travis Sikora, and Robbie Snelling ended off here for the NL East. So, Ben, give us the AL.
AL is going to be kind of dominated by one team, and which is interesting. But if you look at system rankings, it makes a lot of sense. Our catcher is Sam Basallo of Baltimore. First base, we got Blaze Jordan of Boston, and Boston also has our second baseman, Franklin Arias. Shortstop, George Lombard Jr. The Orioles with Kobe Mayo at third base, even though we don't like it.
I like it.
Tampa's Chandler Simpson is our only non-Red Sox prospect in the outfield.
Wow.
Red Sox have Roman Anthony and the password. And then in our pitching rotation, we've got one representative from Tampa Bay and Brody Hopkins, one from Toronto and Trey Savage, one from the Yankees and Bryce Cunningham, and then Peyton Tolley and Connolly Early of the Red Sox.
Hey!
Also, Robbie, I wanted to plug this one up for you. There you go.
No way. That's what happened? That he got... I cannot believe Wade Miley outdueled Luis F. Ortiz. I'm so pissed about that.
Wade Miley, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 5 hits, 2 strikeouts. But it just happens that his team got more runs.
Yeah, because Luis F. Ortiz was worse. Terrible. So technically, Miley outdueled him, which drives me nuts. Damn it.
Man, I am going to take that out on my son in the morning when we play catch.
Luis, I prop Luis Ortiz up, and then he hurts me again. One good start, one bad. One good, one bad. One good, one bad. It's just how it's going to be forever, I guess. Anyways, you know what you can always count on will forever be as well as this show, the Pallazzo Podcast.
Utah.
Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. Follow Ben. Follow Robbie. Go to the Discord. It's free. You can jump in there and have a chat, have a little conversation. Little less conversation, little more action. We just gave Christian Crespo a channel. He deserves a channel. Ben, you can have a channel too, but you're so universal. I figured you're just all over there. But if we can put you into a channel, no problem, of course.
I enjoy kind of just chatting everywhere. So
yeah, that's what I thought you did. Good. So we'll keep it that way. But that link's in the description, totally free all the time. There's a Patreon, all the stuff, all the links. ChasingBaseballGreatness.com, Ben's website, where he's telling you who's coming up. He's giving you the tea leaves, and he's reading them quite well, folks. So if you want to know who's coming up next, who's doing what in the minors, plus other things about baseball, that's where you'll find it. ChasingBaseballGreatness.com.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, no. Something
no,
bad
we
happened
can get off. We can get off. I was just going to say, Jose Barrios is like deep into a game with a shutout and has struck out 1 batter.
Wow.
He's in the 7th inning. He struck out 1 batter, and he's got a shutout rolling. So.
But Ben, it's 68 days to Mopar Fest, Ben. Come on.
That's right, baby.
Didn't know that, did you?
Jeez.
Thanks, Jordy. Thanks, guys. Good stream. We love it, Jordy. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next show. Friday, we'll be back on the air, and, of course, on Sundays. Until then, and everybody who apparently listens to the show on the podcast side, which does exist, because we actually have advertising over there that someone pays for. So email the show, PalazzoPodcast@gmail.com. Let us know that you listen, or jump on one of our live streams and just leave a comment, okay? Love to hear from you. That's it. We're out of here. Good night.